Hi everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys today? Today is a bittersweet day, let me tell you why. Because for 2 months on my online store, I have had free products with a $50 and $100 purchase. And today is the last day, and it won't be coming back until the end of summer, which is so sad, right? Like, we have to wait a long time. So if you can, and you're watching this on the day my video goes live, definitely check out my online store. Any purchase of $50 or $100 will get you products, and it's not a product. If you spend $100, you can pick 2 from the $50 level. If you spend $200, you can pick 4 from the $50 level, or 1 from the $100 level and 2 from the $50 level. There are so many free products, and we're going to be using one of the free products today. This amazing 6x6 pack of designer series paper called Sunshine and Rainbows. It has the best colors: Bermuda Bay, Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, Magenta Madness, Mango Melody, Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Soft Seafoam, and So Saffron. The colors in it are gorgeous. It's this rainbow background on my card right here, and this whole week of videos is focusing on Friends of the Forest. This is my second video this week with this Friends of the Forest stamp set, but during celebration you can get this paper, and today is the last day to get it. Let me show you what it looks like. I'll flip to that page so that you can get a little sampling. There it is. Pretty cool paper. Free $50 purchase, so definitely check it out. Gorgeous colors, and a $50 purchase at my online store will get it for you. So let's move that out of the way. Let's get rid of Friends of the Forest. You'll get to see me use these little creatures in my card today. So we are going to go ahead and move on. We are starting with a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 inch Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to go ahead and give that a little burnish along the score line that I made at 5 1/2 inches. So the score line always goes down the long side of the cardstock, and so this card will open like this. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little piece of that designer series paper, which is the rainbow paper that we're using. I'm going to use the other side, which is this green, and I'm going to attach that right here on the inside of this card. So let me get out my silicone mat. I do love using that when I'm using wet glue. That way I don't make a mess. The silicone mat works really good when you're using any adhesive, because the adhesive will stick to the mat and it rubs off very easily. So the wet glue, if I were to get some on here, would dry and rub off, and it'd be a lot easier to deal with than on your surface. So I'm going to go ahead and put this little piece on the bottom, and I definitely want to make sure that my card is going to close with it in place. It is. And then I always cut them a little bit longer because I want to make sure that it makes it all the way to the end. So I will snip that off. So there is our inside, and we're also going to stamp this cute little critter in tuxedo black ink. So he's going to take on the color of the card. So he's going to be Coastal Cabana. But how cute is he? Oh, love him. I'm going to leave that out because we are going to be using that ink. Let's go ahead and do our stamping so I can do all my cleaning at the same time. So we're going to stamp our tree. Let's get that out. It's kind of a larger stamp, so I'm going to ink the pad to the stamp, making sure that I'm getting ink on the entire tree. And let's move that silicone mat temporarily out of the way, and we will stamp my tree down here. All right, give it a press. You can see that I have a little mask, and I will show you why. in a little bit. So let's set the tree to the side for right now. We are also stamping our deer. It's going to go on this piece here. And again, it's a larger stamp, so we are going to ink it up. And we will stamp it. This is the punch that we'll be inserting it into, so I will put it to this side right here. So that I can slide this in and punch it out. We're going to color it first. We're also going to stamp the bunny. And the bunny will fit in this corner right here. And we are going to use the bird. I'm going to put the little bird in the tree, so we'll stamp it over here. All right, I've already done the flowers. Those are stamped, colored, and cut out, so we wouldn't be here all day, right? You're not interested in watching me be here for hours, right? So I'm only kidding. It doesn't take hours. I'm just over exaggerating, but I definitely want to use our time wisely together. So you'll see some of the things stamped and colored, and others you won't. But let's go ahead and clean off all of our stamps. All right. Now, I used the Simply chamois to clean those off if you are interested in that. So let's do a little coloring, right? Let's color the trunk of the tree. I forgot to pull that color out here. It is dark soft suede. I do have colors in a basket next to me. I thought I had pulled all of the ones that I needed, but apparently I hadn't. So we're going to color first the branches that are into the leaves here. And you can color all the leaves, and I have done that on cards. It's just a little bit time consuming. If you do like to color though, it's a perfect thing to do while you're watching TV. You know, bring your stamp your images, bring them with you out of your craft room or craft area. And while you are watching TV, just grab a small lap desk. I have an old one of my kids when they were smaller. And I just sit it on my lap and I do my coloring. I do enjoy coloring. It is relaxing to me, so I don't mind. If you don't like to color, then do not buy lined art stamps like this one. This one's called a line art stamp, which means it's not solid. All right, so once I've done the branches, now I'm going to work my way down the trunk of the tree. And this brown will lighten as it dries. So it'll be slightly lighter than it is here. But we're going to go ahead and fill in the tree trunk. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the little bird that is on here. And the bird is, I'm going to start with a little bit of blue on his head here. And then a little bit of blue on his wing. And then I'm going to use the rest in this Bermuda Bay. I just wanted him to have a little bit of two-tone coloring. So there's the bird. I'm going to move him out of this scene. I'll cut him out later, but we'll move him out of this scene for right now. Put him to the side. Our bunny is going to be in our So Saffron. I'm going to use the bullet tip for the bunny. I'm going to go around the ears, do his little face. I'm going to do everything but his tail. I'm going to leave his tail white. So we have a yellow bunny. And the colors I pulled were out of the paper. So I used Granny Apple Green, Balmy Blue, Bermuda Bay, So Saffron, and this is soft sea foam. Deer are not usually green, but it works so well for this scene. I just thought it was perfect. So I'm going to use the dark first. And I'm going to highlight parts of this deer with the dark. And then I'm going to come back with my light and I'm going to blend that dark I'm going to blend it in. I'm going to do this section of the deer as well. And then I'm going to do this jawline right here. All right, so that's the dark. Now I'm going to come back with the light and we'll blend over the top of that dark. And we'll blend it in. And then if I do want a little bit more shadow after I'm done blending it, I'll come back in with the dark and I will put a few more lines in the areas that I feel need to be darker. And that's how you get a little shaded deer. So I'm going to cut my bunny out of this piece and I'm going to use this as my handle. We're going to go ahead and punch this deer out with the deer punch. So this punch here is called the Deer Builder Punch and it is available in my online store. It works for Christmas too. You can make a Rudolph, as you can see on here. You have the nose and the two antlers and then the deer image. So we're going to slide it in and we're going to line it up, get our deer situated in here. I think I have a little bit too much at the bottom, so let's remove that so I can slide him all the way down. There we go. Now I have a little more leeway. I'm going to get him lined up and then I'll show you. I have to hold it up a little so I can see. But there he is. And then I'm going to go ahead and press. And there is my deer. So there's a stamp set that has the deer also that is available. I'm sure if you look for the Deer Builder Punch, the stamp set will pop up as well. All right. So let's go ahead and fussy cut out our bunny and our fussy cut out our bunny and our little bird, because there's no punch for these guys, but it is nice to have the punch for the main large deer. So we'll come around our bunny, we'll leave a little border. It doesn't take too long to cut this out. We'll get all our pieces ready and then it will be time to put our card together. They will be cut out and ready to go. So like I said, I've already cut all the flowers. Let me grab my card again so I can show you where we're headed. There we go. So there's our deer and our bunny. I have already colored and cut out our mushrooms and flowers. So there they are. Let's get this little bird ready for his tree debut. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to this awesome tree. So I'm going to be using a blending brush and some Granny Apple Green ink. As soon as I get this little guy cut out, we will head over there and work on that tree. It's a little harder to cut out small pieces because you don't have as much to hold on to. So I will, there's my little bird. All right, so on to the tree. Now, If I hadn't used such a dark, if I wanted a lighter trunk and branches on my tree, I would have needed to use this, which is what I have here. This is an outline that I made by stamping it onto a Post-it note. You can purchase Post-it notes that are solid, completely sticky all the way across. The only thing that's not sticky is this line right here, but the rest of the Post-it note is completely sticky. You can purchase those Post-it notes at your office supply store. And I stamped and cut out the branches right along the line. I didn't leave a border. So then I would stick this down over those pieces, and then I could get the tree any color. As you can see here, I've used it already before, this mask, and I don't need it this time because this is such a dark brown that it will not turn it green. But if it was a lighter brown, a pale brown, it would turn it green. So therefore I would need to cover that up, but I do not need to cover that up. So I'm going to use this blending brush, and we're going to start here in the center. I'm going to bring in a little scrap paper. I like to take that first color off, and as you can see, I'm just going in a circular motion. I'm going to grab a little more. This is a dark, bright green, granny apple green. It's from the Brights collection. We're also going to be using that color, Granny Apple Green, in our cardstock. So I'm going to go to the edges. I want a little bit brighter on the edges. So I'm going to roll my blending brush towards the outer pieces. And you can see that it is not coloring my brown. So I'm safe. Now, if, like I said, if it was a lighter brown, it would have colored it. So then at that point, I would have needed to cover that up with this mask that I have on this stamp here. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way, and we are going to bring in our layers for our card. So this is going to be our words. We're going to stamp thank you on there. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now while I am thinking about it. So this thank you is from a stamp set called Happy and Heartfelt, and it's in the current mini catalog. It is a cling stamp set, which is why it's red rubber, so you can't see through it, but it is a fabulous saying stamp set. So we're going to stamp that right there. I'm a little down. Let's flip that to the other side and go up a little more this time. There we go. So there's the thank you. Put that to the side. We'll deal with that later. But that's all my stamping that I need to do now. We are going to do a little bit more blending, so I'm going to use Balmy Blue, and we're going to blend it to make a sky. I'll show you in a minute. We're going to make that sky on our card here. I cleaned that stamp with our Simply Chamois. So I'm going to do a sky as a setting for the little scene we're making here. And because I colored all of these leaves at once with the blending brush, which makes it so easy, right? I'm just going to work my way around the dips of these leaves as the artist has created them. And I'm going to go in and out as they do and form this really cool shaped tree. And when we're done, we'll have all of the cut elements, and we'll just have to assemble our card. All right, this was the last of the fussy cutting. So there's our tree. I think it turned out rather well. So let's do our ink blending. So as you can see here, I have set a scene, and I wanted it not to be quite so stark white. So I'm going to take this piece and put it back on my little scrap here. We're going to grab some Balmy Blue. These are the blending brushes that are available on my online store. They're rather large, and they have a nice size head on them. Prior to having blending brushes on my online store, I did purchase them, so that's why sometimes you see that I have other blending brushes. And The fact is that they're small, and I prefer this large size, but I was never able to get them until I was able to get them in my online store in this size. So I do prefer this nice size. So you can see I'm building kind of a sky background. So there is our sky. Put that off to the side, and we are done with our scrap paper. We're done with our ink blending. We're done with our coloring and our ink pads. So let's go ahead and put this card together. I will give you all the dimensions. I already told you that this was 4 1/4 by 11 inches. And we are going to be adhering these 2 strips of designer series paper onto our card. I'm going to use the 3 edges here to line this strip up. We'll do the same thing. Put this one on the top. So this is, the bottom strip is 3/4 by 5 1/4, and this top strip is 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. I'll try and get them even. There we go. So there's a little gap in the middle. We're going to fill that gap with our cardstock here. So this is a piece of So Saffron, and it is 2 5/8 by 5 1/4. So this is going to go first. So we will attach this on here, line up our sides. So there's that. And now the piece that we blended, which was our basic white. And this is 2 1/2 by 5 1/4. I have a bunny hair on. My daughter's bunny is black. He hangs out with me sometimes, and every once in a while I'll find out that he is adding to my projects. Super cute guy that he is. All right, so there's my edge of our saffron in our background. So now we're going to build our scene. So I'm going to go ahead and get our tree ready, get all of our pieces ready. We're going to be using dimensionals. We're going to use some of the minis and some of the regular sizes. We'll start with the biggest first. So we'll go ahead and put some around our tree here. I'm going to put one in the middle just to stabilize it. And then I'm going to use the smaller ones down the trunk here, but I definitely want to put them there. So there's our tree. Let's flip over our grass pieces, and I'm going to use the minis on it. 2 should be plenty. They're not that long. So we'll put those where I've cut here. There we go. And we'll do on the bird and the bunny. All right, and the deer, I'm going to use some larger pieces. I don't know if a large one will fit up there on that head of the deer, so let's use a mini. And then we're going to need to put some reinforcements. And so what I use for the reinforcements are the edges of the minis. The minis have a rather large, wide edge, and I like to use those to fill in. So I'm going to use my paper snips, and I am going to come over here, and I'm going to use this small, thin area, and I'm going to add a little to the bird so he has a little stability at the bottom, but it needed to be a small piece. And I'm going to get that to do the bunny ears. So we'll grab a small piece. Oops, I didn't mean to pull that one off there. Let's stick it back onto my paper. Let's see if I can grab this. There we go. We'll do one of the bunny ears right there. Let's do the other one. Bring this back down. When I grabbed the wrong one. Grabbed the larger piece, not the piece I had cut. So let's go ahead and cut another piece. There we go. That will be the other bunny ear. And then we're going to use those skinny ones also for the deer here. So we're going to fill in on the leg area, just because we need some stability there. So that's why I really like using these edges, because you can cut them to the thinness that you need, and you don't waste anything, right? You use everything all the way around, all the way up and around until you're left with just the paper. So I'll put that one there and that one there. So now we have our deer is stable. Everything else looks good. So I will put my scraps away. You can see I've used quite a bit, almost this whole side. Just have a little bit left, and I'm working my way down this side. So they definitely last a while because you only use them when you need bits and pieces, which is not always, right? Now, let's go ahead and use our punch on our thank you. And the punch that I'm using is called Banner's Pick-a-Punch. And when you purchase this punch, it's a dual punch. So you get two different types, and I use the point this time, so we're going to use this side. It holds 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and 1 inch in each slot, and you can get two different styles. So it's a really nice punch. So we're going to go ahead and slide this piece, which is 3/4 of an inch, down the channel there. I'm going to unlock my punch so that it will open, and get it all the way to the back. Make sure that it's all the way to the back like that. And when you are satisfied that is in, you're going to give it a press. And there is the point on my piece. So that is a really cool punch to own, because you can fit many different sizes of paper in there. So that piece is going to be attached onto my tree like that. So let's go ahead and put the large dimensionals behind it. Remember, I stamped it a little low, so I'm actually not covering. I'm going to put 2 of them there, and I'm going to use the wet glue to attach it to my tree. So let's go ahead and pull the backs. We'll start with the tree, because it is the largest piece after all. We'll pull the backs off. I love using my Take Your Pick tool to grab the backs off of my dimensionals. So we're going to start with this little tree here, and we're going to lay it where it fits. We need to leave room for a little set of flowers and such. There we go. So there's our tree. Now let's go ahead and do the thank you next. So I'm going to pull the backs off. Whoops, that one went flying. See how they end up on your craft room floor? Okay, so this side is sticky, but I'm gonna put on the front side some of this wet glue. It's a really strong bonded glue, and so it will hold it in place rather nicely. And we're gonna tuck this thank you behind that tree there. And when I'm happy with that it's straight, I'm gonna go ahead and press on my dimensionals here and get that into place. So there's that. We're going to put the little bird in the tree. So let's pull those off. And we'll set our bird on this branch here. There we go. So cute. Singing. Let's do some of these flowers. Grab these 2 right here. So we'll put one on this side and this one on the other. So cute. We're forming our little scene. Next comes our bunny. So we'll get our backs off of these longer pieces first. And then we will attach our bunny onto our scene here. I'm going to go ahead and do our flowers next. Whoops, I had a piece stuck there. Grab that. Deposit those into the trash. So here is on the other side of the bunny. He's sitting in a field of flowers and mushrooms. Isn't he cute? All right, and the final is our deer. So let's pull the backs off. We'll get these big round ones first. And I will deposit those in the trash, and then we'll work on these skinny ones. That to stabilize the legs. That one went flinging off. There we go. We'll grab them. To the trash they go. My deer is stuck to my finger. All right. So here is our final piece. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. So we'll stick that deer down. And of course, the very final piece is always the bling, right? Gotta love the bling. So we are using the iridescent rhinestones today. These are one of my most favorite new products that I'm carrying in my online store. So we're going to use the small, and we're going to grab the putty end of your take your pick tool. You know that when I pull that off, I always try and get the putty ready. So it will pick up the rhinestones. We'll deposit one there, one in the middle, and then one over here. That looks really good to me. What do you think of this cute little rainbow scene of woodland creatures? I think this card turned out really cute, and I hope that you enjoyed watching me put it together. Here is the first one that I made, and this one as well. Our markers, the Stampin' Blends, are phenomenal. If you don't have them, they come in a 2-pack. You get a dark and a light of each color when you purchase them. So you would get, like, for instance, the soft sea foam, you'd get a dark and a light together. They'd come packaged together. And it's a nice way to just little by little build your collection, get 1 or 2 at a time. I am thinking about putting a Stampin' Blend class together, so if it's something that you're interested in, let me know, and we can do something with that. But I appreciate you watching me. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for everyone who watches. And if you don't mind, give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. Let me know what you think of the project. If you're interested in this Friends of the Forest stamp set, if it's something that you are thinking that you would enjoy, I would love to hear that. And definitely subscribe so that you can get notifications when I post new videos. Check out my blog, inkyhandswarmhearts.com. It is linked in the description below. When you go there, you can access 7 days worth of content. I do each stamp set for about 7 days. And so you have lots of content if you do purchase from me the products that I use, so that you have lots of ideas there. I appreciate your time, and definitely share my video with your friends. Help me grow my channel. I'm very grateful for that. And this is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!